Hello everyone, Bigdosses here and welcome to another video. In this video we're gonna look at a Necrotic Wake plus 20 I did earlier as a survival hunter. In this run, as you can see, I pick up the hammer right there and I feign that to drop the aggro because I used the trap. And on the blightback that is coming into me right now, I instantly stun him because I don't want to start using play defensively because there's a mob hitting me while we're definitely in a burst phase. In this run, this is a pug run, of course. It's tyrannical, so the bosses are stronger. It's bursting, which for the blightbacks is not so hard, but like all these soldiers, they do actually burst, so beware of that. And besides that, it's volcanic. Volcanic spawns underneath the range players mostly, so unless the range players move into melee, it's never really an issue for us. First pack, fairly easy. We have a Dead Knight which bursts a lot, and because this is a pug run, I don't know really what the route is, but this tank clearly knows what he's doing, and we decided to use all three spears on the third boss. And you will see the third boss is definitely a killer for pug runs, especially on the what higher keys. And yeah, that boss really melts in this instance. So what we're doing before we go into a pool, we make sure that we are using our serpent sting on the different mobs so that we hold aggro, or that we already have a dot rolling. I wanted to taunt them there, and as you can see, I sent my pet out to grab those blightbacks in so we can burst more. This is especially good for our damage because we hit above 8 targets, we still hit like a truck. So yeah. What I'm not doing here right now is using our coordinated assault. I could be using that, I'm not, because I want it for the boss fight. Bosses take quite long, and because we are not using a spear here, I decided to hold my cooldown for that. I'm not sure if it was the best idea, I think so, but yeah. So this part, I'm very happy with this tank and the way we deal with this. You see some groups, some pug runs just pull the boss and that's it, but there are also plenty of pug runs where the tank actually pulls it with a lot of adds, and I like what he's doing here because he is walking towards those mobs and pulling them here instead of letting those mobs that are on this platform stand there, and then that he's using how do you say that, just throw a shield or something simple like that. Those costs you really want to kick, and if you don't have a kick anymore, then make sure that you use your stun to interrupt it, because it is very deadly if one of your players is rooted while all the shit around us goes off. So you want to do that to help that out. And as you can see, currently we're doing 55k in this boss fight. Of course that will lower a lot, but damage for survival is not even so bad, even on like single target, but this of course is not a single target. What I've noticed on boss weeks with those Kyrian worms, I don't know why, some people tend to maybe forget that they are there, because we used to just cleave them down, but the higher you go on your keys, the more you actually do need to focus them down, because if they reach their target and they start melee hitting, I think they melee hit for like 40-50k or something, so it is actually quite dangerous. Here I got targeted, so I decided to move out of range, and I sadly didn't have a defensive op. I could have used turtle for that. I did not do it. If this was like maybe a 21 or 22, then I might have died there. So yeah, it's quite important that you use the defensive for that. So what I really like on this part is that the tank is actually dragging those little patchwork soldiers that you really do need to take care of. That he's drawing them in during the boss fight, like the two over there. He still drags them in because we need to kill these mobs all anyway. So it's good that we're doing this right now. Sadly the mage dies, and I need to guide my Kyrian worm, so I backpedal a bit. I can throw my bomb still, and then I just grappling hook in to get in. The mage should release by now, but which he is currently not doing. He's just waiting there. I don't know. At the time, I don't think I've realized this. I could have typed it earlier, but watching back, yeah, he should have just released. Simple as that. So if this is content that you guys like, then consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel. It helps me out a ton. I am very happy with all the support I'm getting right now. It's amazing. If you have any feedback for me, things that I should do differently, things that I should keep on doing, or should I explain more, explain less, let me know in the comments. It really helps me out. This is a very standard pull. You grab those two, the Zolomos Bone Carver and the Sorcerer, together with the Necromancer and the mobs around him, and we just cleave them down. Try and always use your Mr. Red on the tank. Of course, that only works when your tank gets off his mount. This took me, sadly, a lot of time to actually figure out, but yeah. With the Bone Carver, as you can see right here, the Bone Carver has a frontal assault. It's like he shivs someone. Don't stand next to the tank. Always try and stand behind the tank, of course, but especially on that pull, make sure that you stand behind the tank, because that will actually fuck you up quite a bit. And of course, with the Marauder as well, has a massive frontal cleave. Make sure that you stand behind him, and when he has this shield active, for some reason people don't always know why the mob suddenly dies. That is because he has this shield active, and if you kill the shield within the time that the shield is up, which is 7 seconds, if you kill the shield in that time frame, then it's really easy, because at that point you, how do you say that, you will just instantly delete him. So yeah. I saw some bolts flying towards me, that's why I used Feign Death, and I assumed I was going to die here, but luckily I did not. I assumed everyone would die, and then the shaman just could onk and get us back up. But it wasn't necessary, because the mobs didn't actually run up the stairs, so we were fine. Again, misdirect, always misdirect your tank. There I was, as you could see, I was holding on to moving in, because the mobs ran towards us, and if they did a frontal cleave right when they moved in, then I would have been really screwed, especially if both of them did. So that's why I waited till the tank turned around, and then I moved in. It's like these little mistakes which can greatly cost you if you do not focus it, really. Here I use my coordinated assault. Not really necessary, but just better safe than sorry. These pulls tend to actually hurt more than you realize. So yeah, you know, better make sure that they die nice and quickly. Most of these days everyone is Kyrian, so there's always someone in the party, but if there's not someone in the party, then you can actually activate your Goliath if you are playing Kyrian. I'm wondering, is one of you guys maybe playing Necrolord as a survival hunter? Because I'm quite curious. I think the legendary for Necrolord could be quite fun with like the bomb theme, and then just the overall the bombs, and just, yeah. Of course, it's a lot less crit, and it's probably not as good, but I'm wondering if it's actually not really fun to play. Here, keep a mental note on where the tank is facing, for as far as that goes, of course, because, yeah. And there the Bone Carver. Here I'm standing in shit which I should not be standing in, because the Sorcerer is casting it. And here the Bone Flay, again, make sure that you are not standing in front of it, because it will actually wreck you. Of course, this week, this is mob week, or boss week, sorry, so it's a lot less dangerous. Here we want to go and skip. I don't know why we would skip this, and because I skipped earlier, I do not have a pot for this. So yeah, I'm just letting them know. And so now we're actually doing this, and yeah, this will be a bit of an awkward pull, but yeah, that shit happens. Make sure that you actually try and focus the necromancer as much as possible. Of course, I completely understand if you want to not do that and just burst everything around you, because it looks good on the damage meters, but yeah. And here I am slowly dying. I don't have a heal. I should use my health pot there, but yeah, I did not actually get healed enough to make it back up. I should have used my health pot there to maybe give the healer a little bit more time getting me up, but yeah, that shit just happens. I'm not sure, maybe my defensive was off cooldown as well, the survival of the fittest. If so, then I should have used that as well, but yeah. Sorry about that. So again, here we're not using any weapons, and there is a strategy to this boss that you actually can when the mobs spawn, that you can make it a lot easier for yourself. What you want to do as a hunter here is the boss has an enrage ability, which he does once in a while. At least make sure that you should always use your kick for the frostbolt volley or the necrotic bolt, but that you are also using your tranquilizing shot to remove the enrage, because this boss actually starts to will on your tank quite a bit, and you can just easily remove that for your tank. Now the tank is not moving the boss, and the ads died underneath the boss, so we can't stand there. So pop your aspect of the hawk to move away, and you can still DPS. So again, the enrage is active. I use my tranquilizing shot and it's gone. When the mobs start to spawn, I start to dot the mob, so they go in. I have my resonating arrow for this. I think I actually hold it for this a little bit, just to make sure that it's easy. And there we have to make sure that the last guy dies, because we don't want him to explode. Or if you are with a coordinated group, you can actually just frost trap one of those mobs, and then it automatically dies in this phase, but it does not give you the exploding stack. So that is something that you could do. Here again there is the enrage, tranquilizing shot, remove it. That's all there is. But please do. If you play a hunter, please do. Your tanks will love you, although they will not say it, of course, because they did not realize that you actually saved their asses. But yeah. Here I should be using my kick better, but the shaman was very clutch on that stun there, making this phase really, really, really easy for us all. And I think it was the DK that's also grabbing the mobs in. Now I'm using my coordinated assault. On this part, I don't think I should have done that. Because if you go up, then sometimes you do massive pulls, and a coordinated assault for that pull would have been great. I did not do that, so that was not the best call on my end. So for trinkets we have Solea's secret technique, I think it's called. And what I always try to do is use it on someone which gives me haste. So in this instance I think it's currently running on the shaman, because I think he is giving me haste. So I try and always do that. Besides that, usually what you see is you go the other way and you pull like half of the room, which is a great strategy, but I did a lot of Necrotic Wakes last week, and of course it was mob week then, but like a lot of tanks died just trying to hold aggro, and so playing it like this is fine, especially if the DPS of the group is high enough. And as you can see in the bottom right corner, we're doing 20k overall at the moment, doing really solid DPS right now, which is nice. Here the Kyrian weapon is active, and we have our cooldowns rolling as well, so we can really make sure that we blow these guys up. I'm always backpedaling out a little bit because it's very hard to see. There is a mob in this pool which has like a massive AoE circle. There it is, and I never really know when he starts to cast it, so I'm always really I play it usually quite safe because I can't really see it all that well. So yeah, that is something that you can do to of course make it a little bit safer. And there if you are focused by the cleaver, then make sure that you actually use the cleaver on the other mobs, because you can actually hit them with that. Well, here, very easy. Always if you go into a pool, make sure that you serpent sting the mobs, at least 3-4 maybe if you can. Then if you do that, then you will bomb, you will carve, then you will bomb again, and then your carve will be up at quite soon after that, and in between you will want to spam kill command, especially if you have your set pieces, because then your kill command will give you maybe a bomb reset. And if you do that, then you can sometimes in your one Kyrian window or your resonating arrow window, you can sometimes even like put 3, 4, sometimes 5 bombs in that window, making for a massive burst of damage. So yeah, that is very important if you can get that off. So it's important that you use your carve on cooldown more or less, and that you spam your kill command, even if it overcaps you on focus sometimes. Especially in AoE, you really want to use, especially when you've used the red bomb, you want to spam that. But also, to improve your DPS, spam it, but spam it on different targets. This is very important. People tend to forget that, I think. Spam it on different targets, because yeah, that way if you do that, here I get a cleaver on me, I just make sure that it hits the other one. But if you spam it on different targets, you have multiple bleeds. Multiple bleeds means, if you have the talent, also higher attack speed, which is nice, but it is also deals more damage because you have multiple bleeds running. So yeah. Again, make sure that you focus your cleaver throwing into the next mob. I have an add-on which tells me when to rebuff Soleil's secret technique, which I instantly do because I really want that extra haste, giving me a shit ton of haste in like pools like this. Or, well, in every pool. There's the gut slice, and for some reason, I'm on comms with the shaman, by the way, so it's not entirely a problem, but I usually tell him about the gut slice, which is like the mob just turns around and then do it in a frontal line, so it's not really focused on the tank, and for some reason it's not getting into my system that I actually should dodge that properly. So yeah, again, here in the pool, opening pool, make sure that you use your serpent sting on all the mobs if possible. Bomb, carve, bomb, bomb again, and start spamming your kill command, and bomb again, and carve again, reducing the cooldown. Now I have a bomb reset. Position yourself in a way that you can always hit as many targets as you possibly can, and keep your carve off cooldown. Well, coordinate assault is off cooldown, but I really want to for the next boss fight again. This is because the next boss fight is like absolutely terrible. I find it a really great struggle to do it in pugs, because either I fail on the hook, I'm not gonna lie, I fail the hook sometimes as well. Other party members fail on the hook plenty of times, which is garbage. So I'm very happy with the plan from the tank, although it's of course not optimal, but because our DPS is high enough, it's fine. But our tank has told us the order in which everyone should throw their spear at the boss. So I get the hook on me, I position myself in a way that I face it towards him, and I was the first, so I target him, I throw the spear, and then I feign death. And now we start bursting, someone else threw the spear as well, bam, guy's almost dead already, and we have a third spear to come in as well. Now, we make sure that he gets hooked, so if he follows us, then we make sure that it's in a line, and here he is. I think, how long does that fight take? Maybe 20 seconds or so? Easy. And this actually really helps out the boss fight. He said 47 seconds for the boss fight. That's of course with the first part, the main boss not in the room. But when the actual boss hit the floor, it was really easy. And that I really like. Now on this boss, I think a mechanic that maybe not everyone knows about. It sure as hell took me quite some time to figure it out. Is when he has this shield around him, he does pulsing damage. I never really thought about it, to be honest. It's just fairly easy, but I never really thought about it. And when he has that around him, then where was my mind going? Yeah, the pulsing damage really starts hitting your group very hard, and that is why you want those hammers. Those hammers are there to break this shield quickly, so you can of course damage his natural health pool, which is fine, but it also really helps you out with the overall pulsing damage, so your healer doesn't go right away or cries a lot because he can't heal up the damage. Now there I saw that I was being targeted with the brute, that's why I disengaged out. It took the healer some time to actually heal me because I disengaged further away from him, making his life a fucking hell. Which, by the way, is fine, because I know this healer, so he deserves it. No. But yeah. So I'm holding on to my hammer right now, looking for a window where it is important that I actually do it. Now it's not really the great time, because we actually used, I won't say lost, yeah, well, time warp lost. We used lost there. So anytime that you have cooldowns to break that shield quickly, then you really don't need a hammer, and eventually you will start to use it to make that phase easier. Now the shield is also breaking quite quickly, so not really necessary. That is because everyone is on the floor at the moment. There I thought that I would die because like the icicles were still dropping down, that's why I turtled there. Now someone was going to be sent away, I see that, and this is a great time. I don't have any cooldowns, this is why I use my hammer here to break the shield and make this phase again a lot quicker. So those hammers that you see around, I don't see a lot of people picking them up. Take your time to pick them up. There's one at the start, you as a hunter, frost trap them up on the right of it, or like a demon hunter cage, or maybe I think even a monk ring would help. Do that, pick up that hammer, that's one. Then there's I think 2 more in the entire dungeon. Make sure just to pick them up and use them on this fight to break that shield. So yeah. And although this is a pug run, that is actually really what helps, and our tank called that out, so that was nice. Now everyone is back on the floor again, because the one downstairs went really quickly, which is nice, making this very easy. And that was the run, guys. I hoped you liked it. Wait, yeah, I can't hear again a thing. my headset just decided to die down. But I hope you like the run. If there is anything on feedback, let me know. This is the damage breakdown. Wildfire Cluster, of course, because Wildfire Cluster, great legendary. And you can see the bombs there. And here, I'm gonna pause the video. As you can see, I mouse over it as well. 87% uptime on my Serpent Sting. Try and do that and try and get that number as high as you possibly can. If that number is like 60% or 50% for you, then you are probably Serpent Stinging not enough, and you're using your bombs maybe not correctly, because your green bomb is never extending your Serpent Sting. So try and focus on that to improve the damage of your overall damage. But guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.